Good morning. All right. Woo, hybrid. Who knew 3 years ago we would be in a hybrid situation? I mean, I always thought in my Toastmastering career, I'd be in person forever and ever. But now we're in hybrid, and what an incredible opportunity to learn more. Julie, thank you so much for that introduction. And more importantly, Julie, immediate past district governor, director, I'm still in the governor mode, director, thank you so much for everything that you did last year, your team did. I've been a member now of Founders District for 3 years, and I have so appreciated all the mentoring and all the mentoring and being a mentor and being mentored by people like Julie. And it's such an absolute pleasure. So thank you for everything you did for Smedley 1, Advanced Toastmasters Club, and of course for the district. Now, Kathy, our new district director. Woo! Big hand for Kathy. Her team does so much for us and will continue to do so much for us for this coming year. And Kathy, again, as a member of your district, I so appreciate everything that you and the team are doing. Thank you. As Julie mentioned in my introduction, I joined Toastmasters 6 months after women were allowed into the organization. They voted us in August of 1973. I joined in February of 1974. I went down the street from where I was living at the time. I walked into Seattle General Toastmasters Club, 27 men and me. I loved the odds at that time, if you do the math going backwards, but I loved it. They put me through my paces. In fact, all counters back then were tough on us. When I was speaking and an RM came up in my club then, they would drop a marble into a tin can. I immediately got rid of ahs and ums and anything because that tin can was so loud. But they put me through my paces. 2 years into it, I said, I've learned everything I'm going to learn. I quit. I went to our club president and said, I quit. He said, have you talked to your mentor yet? I went, oh, George, I forgot to talk to George. Okay. So I went, found my mentor, sat down with George, and George goes, you're quitting? Roberta, you have a degree in public address and rhetoric. You've got all the theory you will ever need, but where are you going to practice? If you practice out in your job, they could fire you if you do something wrong. They can demote you. Why not stay in Toastmasters and keep that as your business residency? I went, oh, that's great. Just like a doctor. You learn all the theory and then you get to practice. So back then, I adopted the idea of my being in Toastmasters as being part of a business residency, or these days we can call it continuing education. Doesn't matter. It was still a way for me to be involved with the organization, learn all the theory I could possibly learn, and then practice it, test it in my Toastmaster clubs. So I did that for the next couple of years. George was my mentor. And then one day, and some of you who are online and here will recognize when you have been volunteered. I was volunteered to be an area, back then it was called governor, an area director. Don't tell anybody, but I didn't have a clue, not a clue what to do. I mean, area, okay, I've got this area governor director title, but shh, don't tell anybody, I don't know what I'm doing. But I did it. George told me I could do it, so I did it. Wow, did I learn lessons? Did I learn skills from saying yes to that opportunity? And then over the years, I've said yes to every area director opportunity I've had the privilege of being part of, to the committees, to be the team leader, to being in the team, on the team, whatever it was, because I learned so many skills in doing that. But back then, I didn't know anything. Now, the great news about being a member of district, Founders District, you just say yes, And then if you need help, you go find Kathy, or you find April, or you find Linda, or you find Mary. We are surrounded by people who want to help us be advisors. Now, before I get into what skills I've learned over the years, and just to kind of give you an idea of what you might be able to learn by being a mentor and being in the mentoring process, I'm going to go to the book that Lance Miller uses all the time. He says that's his favorite book. And if those of you who were here at the district conference, Lance was our keynote speaker, and Lance shared his book. His book is called The Dictionary. So I wanted to look up the word mentor. So I did. And it's someone with knowledge and who acts as an advisor. If you're mentoring, that's someone who has knowledge, experience, and skills that they share with other people in order for other people to be successful. Wow. So much learning has taken place over the years. And Juliet asked me to share some of my personal journey. But as I was looking at my personal mentoring journey, I wanted to look at what skills have I learned by being a mentor or being mentored. So I'm going to share 3 of those with you now. First, learn to collaborate. Now, I learned it back then. I continue to learn it, and I'll learn it again and again and again. Why? Because collaboration is the key to success in everything that we do, whether in our Toastmasters Club or in our corporate life. So for example, this morning I was driving down, got here early so I could take a call. I'm working on a project for the Space Force in Orlando, and I'm working with a group of people who are amazing. They're legends in our industry. They're legends in the Space Force, and they're asking me for advice. I'm like, whoa, okay. So I needed to learn immediately collaboration. I'm part of this team to build the Space Force first museum out on the Space Coast. And what a great opportunity. But back in my days of learning this back in Seattle, I did not know what collaboration meant. I didn't even know to collaborate. So when I took over as area director for the first time, I had to put on a speech contest in the fall. Now, Mary remembers this, and maybe a couple other of you remember when we used to have Linda does, 2 different contests, one in the fall and one in the spring. Well, I'm the new area governor. All right, I'm going to put on a speech contest. I did it all. I went out and found the contestants. I found the location. Got the food. I was the Toastmaster. I did find a few people to participate, but I drug them in, kind of like, okay, well, you're going to speak and you're going to speak. But I did it all. And I found a couple of judges. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what collaboration was. And my mentor, George, never bothered to jump in at that moment, which was the right thing to do. Because afterwards, when I was exhausted, I sat down with George and he said to me, would you learn, Roberta? Oh, not to do this again. I'm never volunteering for anything ever again. And he goes, not the right lesson. Not really the lesson I want you to learn. Learn collaboration. And that's when I started learning, how do we work together? In fact, I know our team is on the call. And I think as I was thinking about this, as we were going forward, I thought, wow, Kathy and Jeannie and Linda, we should probably do an entire workshop on generational collaboration. Because I'm working with this group that are in the Space Force. I'm working with 20-year-olds. I'm working with 70-year-olds. And everyone has a different way of collaborating. So it would be interesting to have a workshop on collaboration, because there isn't a program or a project that I go into now, and I've got a project with Warner Brothers, that they don't ask me the question, well, how do you collaborate? What tools do you use for collaboration? Tell us about a time when you collaborated to a successful result. Tell us about a time you collaborated to not a successful result. And what did you learn from that? So it doesn't matter what group I'm working with, collaboration seems to be the corporate buzzword, has been for years, that we need to take a little bit more time with. I'm learning it. I learned it. I'm learning it. I will continue to learn that skill of collaboration. Now, the second skill I learned, I started to learn back then, and I'm still learning. The second one is ask questions and then shut up and listen. Some of you recognize that. Ask questions, then shut up and listen. When I was first doing this as the area governor, I thought they wanted all of my knowledge because my club was #1 in the district. And boy, did we know how to get new members in. We knew how to get educations done. We knew it all. So they wanted me to be at area so I could tell them what to do. I know online, you're probably laughing at that because that didn't work. Nobody cared what my club was doing. It was interesting. What they cared about is how could I help them reach their goals? So I learned to ask questions and then to shut up and listen to the answers. In fact, I brought one of my favorite books today to share with you. In fact, I will give this book away. It was signed to me, but I want to give it to someone who would love to learn how to ask questions better. The book is called Ask Outrageously: The Secret to Getting What You Really Want. And it's by Linda Swindling. Awesome book on asking questions, how to format questions. Now, who in this room, because I can't give it away to you online, wants this book? I can tell. Oh, no, I'm giving it. Mary, I'll get you your own copy, but I'm giving this one to Kathy. Because Kathy, absolutely. We'll get you one too. Kathy, absolutely. We always need to learn to ask questions. And how do we ask questions? Well, I learned that. But I had to learn to not only ask questions, but then to shut up and listen. So then the third skill, which kind of led out from that second skill, was one that I'm continuing to learn. I have a habit, a bad habit, of when somebody brings me a problem, I immediately want to jump in and tell them how to fix the problem. Here's what you do. You fix it. Blah, blah, blah. It's almost, and forgive me if I'm saying this, it's almost like throwing up. I'm going to throw up all my knowledge because I'm going to fix your problem. I'm going to make that decision for you. Nah, that's the lesson I continue to learn. The skill I continue to learn is it should not be my doing the job for them or making the decisions for them. It needs to be them. Or as my father used to teach me when I was learning how to fish at an early age, teach someone to fish. Don't do the fishing for them. Fish. Teach someone else to fish. I learned that lesson a long time ago at Stuart Anderson's when I was the head of the entertainment department. Stuart took all of us and put us into class. The class was called Getting Rid of Your Monkeys. Now, the 1 Minute Manager has come out, has a book. It's called The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkeys by Ken Blanchard and William Onken. And here was the game. Now, just set this aside for a moment. I'm running an entertainment department. I have close to 300 people who are working for me. And what I had to visualize at the time is each one of those people would come into my office and go, Roberta, I just can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And because I want to help, like all of us in the room go, I can do that. I can help. I'll do that. Well, guess what? In that book, a problem's a monkey. So the person walks into my office with a whole back full of monkeys. The game is how many monkeys they have are going to land on your back. So when they leave, they're relaxed. They're ready to go play. They can take the night off. They can take the weekend off. You've got their monkey. And Linda, I can tell, knows this one. We walk into our Toastmasters clubs or into our areas at our divisions, and people bring us their monkeys. And because we want to help put the monkeys on our back. We don't teach them to fish. We just take it and we do it because we know we can do it. So the game is, how do we teach people to fish and be able to keep their monkeys and solve their problems instead of us taking the monkeys? I have seen more district directors be able, would want to help and take everybody's monkey on their back. In fact, I'm working with a district director right now who's her impatience is her patience. It's not Kathy, by the way, but I'm working with a particular district director who's impatient. She wants to build new clubs right now. So instead of using her club growth director to build those clubs, she's doing it. I'm like, okay, now you're going to build all these clubs yourself. And if you're educational vice president, if it's in the club, or our program quality director doesn't want to do anything, you're going to do that too. So by the end of the year, you're going to be bent over, exhausted from all the monkeys you're carrying on your back. I got her the book and she immediately stopped. She said, you're right. I have got to learn patience so that I let my team learn the lessons they need to learn. I've known how to do it. I'll teach them to fish. So the 3 skills that I've learned over the years that I continue to learn is, number 1, learn to collaborate and do that well. Number 2, learn to ask better questions and then shut up and listen. Learn what they want and what they need. And then 3rd, let's teach people to fish. Let's bat those monkeys back where they belong. I used to have so much fun when my team from my entertainment department would come into the office and they'd go, oh, I got a monkey. And then I would brainstorm with them and they'd walk out with their own monkeys and I could have a night off, or at least a restful night. And in our clubs and our districts, that's the hardest thing to do because we want to help. Being a member of Toastmasters is an absolute priceless activity. It's priceless as continuing education. It's priceless because we make so many friends online, in person. Helen Blanchard, past international president, said, because I met her when she was a director, but past international president said, if we get out of Toastmasters, everything we can get out of Toastmasters, we will never get out of Toastmasters. Take this opportunity to get everything that you can out of Toastmasters. Volunteer to be mentored. Volunteer to be a mentoring entity in this district. There are so many opportunities to do that. I highly recommend that you continue on your mentoring journey. Now, to assist you with that, I brought 3 more books to give away. So 1 book is going to Kathy, absolutely. And I have 3 more, and then let me know afterwards, those who want the Ask Outrageously, and I'll get you those. Ken Blanchard, the 1 Minute Manager, came out with 1 Minute Mentoring. Who would like this book? Julie, this book will be yours. And then I brought 2 books that I have been part of the authoring, the Women Who Rock 1, or Women Who Rock 2, Volume 2. I've been in both books. It's fun to listen and to read all the other episodes and all the other chapters from the women who have rocked their lives, just like we're all rocking our lives in this room. So I'll give these 2 away as well. What an absolute joy to be with you this morning, online, in person. Continue your mentoring journey. Thank you.